Kia ora, paraglider pilots. This is a flight from just above treeline on Scott's Track, Avalanche Peak, Arthur's Pass National Park. Because I'm making a deliberate effort to avoid scratching at this point in my flying career, I'm out away from the hill trying to get some lift off these spines, so I'm just doing figure eights here because I'm not high enough yet to turn 360s. So you can just hear I heard a little tip-tuck there and a bunch of sink. That's because I was flying through the downwind side of a thermal coming off this main spur. So I kind of expected that I might hit that flying through there, and knew that if there was sink I was probably going to hit lift shortly. But coming into some of these thermals, you can see I'm having to manage my pitch quite a bit. But at least once I'm in that lift, it's starting to pull me away from the terrain. I had to work in here for sort of 7 or 8 minutes to try and get something that could get me away from the terrain. You can see just here my wing dives, I think because it's flown out of the thermal, and so I've just had to catch that, recenter and then get turning again, and pretty soon I was able to climb away from the terrain. So once I got established in that climb, it didn't take long to get up to cloud base, which was just over 9,000 feet, and airspace here is 9,500. We used to live in Arthur's Pass for 15 years. My thing back then was mountaineering. I hadn't gotten into flying yet, and it was awesome to be flying over this terrain that I used to climb in. I can see Ryan's shadow on the Crow Glacier and his wing above the peak. So this dark shady bit of terrain is the Crow face of Mount Rolleston. I was a bit intimidated by that, and it was in the shade, so I saw some clouds out to the right and some sunny spurs, so I thought we'll head out that way. That was my first big mistake, because once I was no longer above the ridge I started to sink, and as I got over to these sunny spurs I flew through this little patch of lift, and I should have turned in it, but I thought 50 metres ahead, 100 metres ahead, I'm going to hit stronger stuff. So I flew through it, but unfortunately that was all the lift I got. So then I turned back for the next kind of sunny spur down valley. And as I came over that, I got a little bit of lift. I started to pick something up there, but I wasn't making much height on the turns. And then on one of my turns, as I came back round into wind, suddenly I just parked. It was like the wind speed went up by 25 k's an hour instantly. So I think that was me flying down into the valley wind. And it's not just a normal valley wind here. This is Arthur's Pass is a pass across the main Southern Alps. So any pressure differential between the east and west side of the Alps causes the air to flow through the whole valley, and so the valley wind here can be quite deep. Even though I'm above tree line, I'm already in it, and so now my only real option, I think, is I'm going to get flushed. So I start heading back down to the open terrain by Arthur's Pass village. Having landed in strong wind before, I'm smart enough to know to set my landing up for sort of closer to the upwind end of the village, so that I've got room to get blown backwards if I've misjudged the wind speed. But I don't want to land so far up into the valley here that I'm close to buildings or trees upwind of me that might cause rotor. So this is a nice spot to come into. As you can see, I'm at trim speed. I'm only just making forward progress here. So this was a great little flight, only 45 minutes, got up to 9,000 feet. Could have been an epic day. But because of those couple of mistakes, which were good things to learn from, I ended up having a shorter flight.